All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Morning prayer. Edward Parker, how you guys doing this morning? You guys should have sound now. Good, awesome. All right, guys. I don't know what's going on at the moment, to be honest. Oops. What'd I do? What'd I do? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The internet, like, it looks like all up the East Coast is kind of screwed up. So I can see, like, I can't get into Discord. I can get into it on my phone, but I can't see any messages. Apparently, I can send messages that go through, but I can't see any responses or anything like that. And then, so it looks like some order fills this morning were a little wacky here as well. So I'm going to run through the analysis here, kind of what I'm looking at. YouTube changed a couple things this morning as well. That wasn't like trying to connect. So I'm going to do the morning analysis, kind of my thoughts and plans here. I'm going to throw a couple test orders in and just try to see what the servers are looking like, see if we're actually getting fills, kind of what that does. I'm going to call actually Max, my broker, first. Make sure all of that is good before I trade. So yeah, it's a day for caution, to say the least here. Looks like it's affecting a lot of people as well. So Skype is working, and looks like YouTube is kind of working. Thinkorswim's trying to work here. So looks like everything but Discord and a couple other things here, which are important. So anyways, let's run through the analysis here on the S&Ps. So right now we're at about 155,000 contracts traded on the day. We've got an overnight range of about 14 points here, and S&P's here up 0.19%, Nasdaq up 0.27, Russell up 0.30, and the Dow up 0.22% there. Something interesting to note from Friday's price action there is that the S&Ps and the Dow ended up at the very end of the day, like the last 5, 10, 15 minutes there, ended up coming down, getting new lows on the day, and the Russell and the Nasdaq did not. And then you can see Russell and Nasdaq are the two strongest again this morning. So Russell and Nasdaq have been kind of moving together there. S&Ps and Dow have been moving a little bit together. Again, we didn't get, kind of like 11 o'clock there on Friday. We didn't get new highs for the Russell. We did get new highs in S&Ps, Nasdaq, and the Dow, but we did not get those in the Russell. So what I'm going to be looking for coming into today is a couple levels I have in place here. No update from Google. Okay, cool. Here we go. I left this 29.4450 level in place here. So we've traded so far lows overnight, 29.47 quarters here. So we haven't quite pushed up or pushed down into this 44.50 level yet. I'm going to leave that in place today. It's about 12 points lower. We're currently 29.5650s. And my game plan for today is anything beneath 29.6275s I'm not necessarily too interested in. Anything above 29.4450s I'm not necessarily too interested in. So there's like an 18-point range there that I think for today, especially considering all the technical issues and things like that we're seeing, is going to end up being my do not trade zone for today. And then fingers crossed that price ends up staying inside of these two levels here. Now, if we do crack under 29.4450s, then I think we can get a decent little pullback here towards 29.21s. If we get up through 29.6275s, then we're pretty much open air from there. This hourly uptrend is still very much intact there, and we're just continuing to push our way higher. Overnight highs so far are 61.75, so we got about a point off of that 62.75 level there. In the overnight session, looks to be about 3 o'clock of this morning. So if we stay kind of inside of this zone here, I'm not going to look to do too much. I don't necessarily anticipate a major breakout today, like up to 29.80s or something. I don't just see us breaking through this 29.6275s and just ripping today. Could be wrong about that. but not something that I would necessarily look to play for. So inside of this zone here, I'm going to go ahead and let the market kind of figure itself out, and then look for what I think is going to be the next move coming to the upside there. All right, taking a look at the NASDAQ here. So NASDAQ came down in the overnight session, and we did finally trade this 77.36 support level. You can see we didn't trade that on Friday. We got to 77.37, so 1 point front run of that level there. And now, up here, 77.73s. That's a lot of sevens in one sentence there. The do not trade zones for me in this are going to come in 77, 79, 50s. So another like 7 points higher or so. So as long as we're under that level and above kind of this 77.36 level here, I'm not going to be looking to do too much with the NASDAQ. You can kind of see this price action here from Friday. And if we drill down into like a 5-minute chart here, you'll see it even more so. Is we just pretty much, we got this big rally to the upside, we pulled back, and then we basically just chopped around, tried to go higher, failed, ended up trying to go lower, and then at the end of the day kind of kicked in there. So I don't want to mess with any of this type of looking action right there into the NASDAQ, and that's what I think we're going to have kind of as long as we stay inside of that zone. So again, fairly large zone for the NASDAQ and for the S&Ps here. But if it ends up keeping me out of trouble, then I'm completely fine, with allowing, 18 points worth of range on the S&Ps, or 60 points, 30, 40 points worth of range here in the NASDAQ to kind of go by, and just let this kind of figure itself out here. So NASDAQ over 79.50s, I'm interested in longs. Under 77.36s, I think we had a pretty decent little pullback here, kind of down in towards 76.50s. So we've got about 80 points worth of room to go to the downside in there. Again, I think we kind of stay inside that zone, if not maybe push through 79.50s a little bit in there today. And then taking a look at the Russell here. So Russell up 0.30% on the day, 1556s in here. This thing actually ended this thing had a really aggressive move to the downside on Friday. Actually ended the hourly uptrend in here. So I'm going to I actually don't want to put any type of game plan in place here for the Russell at the moment. I want to let this thing go ahead and work itself out here. For some reason, it is gapping up the most on the day. I don't know if that's necessarily because it was down the most on Friday and it's just kind of balancing itself out, or if it's actually going to come in and show some strength here. But given the way this chart looks, I don't necessarily think that strength is what the Russell currently possesses. So I'm going to let this thing kind of work itself out here. The levels to the upside that it's going to need a break to kind of get back into the uptrend is going to be 1559.60s. We traded 1559s in the overnight session here. So again, going to let the Russell kind of work itself out today, as well as both the S&Ps and the NASDAQ. Russell, again, larger time frame, did break the hourly uptrend, therefore a little bit weaker in terms of just the price structure that it's currently trading in. And then taking a look at the Dow here. So Dow's got a level down below here, 26,631s. We traded 26,662s. So we got 31 points away from tagging those levels in the overnight session here so far, and we're back up at 26,761. So we're gapping up just a little bit here from out of this move from Friday. And realistically here, we're going to need to get above 26,853s, I think, in the Dow for the next leg to the upside. So I'm going to watch this today. I do like the Dow's pattern. I don't like the daily chart. We do have a pretty decent topping tail on the daily chart, but I do like the hourly chart that's in here. We've got another small level we can throw in at 26,809s. 26,789s are the highs for today's overnight session here, and we've been kind of just lackluster from there. So if we get through 26,809s, start paying a little bit more attention to it. If we get through 26,853s from there, I think we can step into a little larger positions. So over 26,809s, I think we can take small positions. over 26,853s, I think we can add or wait for that as the safer entry here into the next leg to the upside for the Dow. If not here, I think it's going to kind of work itself out inside of Friday's range. And if not, poke through these lows one more time today. We got 26,662s way down in here in the overnight session there on a spike. And I would not be surprised if we ended up trading that again today at some point in the midst of this kind of gyration area that we're looking at for these markets. And I'm going to try Discord one more time. Nope. Still not working. Awesome. All right, well, that's my morning analysis here for the 4 main indices. I'm not even going to take a look at gold and crude here. We've got only just a couple minutes left before the bell. I do want to throw, like I said, I'm going to give Max a call and then throw a couple orders in here as long as everything looks to be all right. The markets look to be a little thin this morning. I'm showing like 2 and 3 and 6 lots on the NASDAQ on the bid and offers. So I don't know that I want to really mess with that too much. There could be some slippage there and could be a little bit of whippy action right kind of at the open. And let me just make sure that I'm just going to check it against another platform here, make sure that that's what I'm seeing. Yeah. So really, really light. We're sitting with like a couple contracts on either side. Does it? Okay. And yeah, S&Ps, I'm seeing like 40 contracts sitting on bid, 60. Yeah, it's pretty light. So I might let this pass. Looks like Top Step is having some slippage issues as well. So if you don't necessarily have to trade, if you're seeing everything's working fine on your end, then by all means go for it. But keep in mind there is some type of bigger issue here going on. And something that we talk about in the MLT Pro course is connection issues, technical issues, execution risk, all of those risks. And I think today we've got some of those in play. So I'm gonna take a little advice on that from previous occurrences and previous lessons that I've learned the hard way and look to sit this one out. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out. Sorry about all the issues. Again, not my fault, not your fault, but something we just got to work through. And, if you guys are going to trade today, obviously make sure you keep stops in place. Know your broker's number in case you lose internet or something ends up happening kind of across the board with other things there. And have a good day. If Discord does come back up before 10:30, then I'll jump in. I'll go live on there and chat with you guys and catch up and fill you in on what it is I'm looking to do. So thank you guys so much. Sorry about the problems, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow.